Today, from Step Up for Students, we will be talking about college and career readiness, the journey to post-secondary education. The focus of this presentation is to discuss preparing yourself for college, and it starts from as early as kindergarten and it goes all the way up to high school age students. All right, first, an introduction, a little bit about me. My name is Keith Jacobs. I am the manager for Charter School Initiatives for Step Up for Students, Florida for Choices. A little bit about my background. I am a 14-year educator and a former principal. I have worked as either a teacher or an administrator from kindergarten through 12th grade in both traditional district public schools and charter schools. My email address is below, kjacobs@stepupforstudents.org. Okay, so a couple things, a couple tips for college admissions that everyone should know is to take core courses all years. A lot of times students want to take courses that'll, easier for them, courses that they can get easy A's in, but what colleges are looking for is to make sure that you're taking all your core courses every single year. And also to take rigorous courses. I understand that a lot of students want to take regular courses, English regular, your algebra regular in high school, which for some students that may work, but for college and career readiness, you want to take those honors level courses and AP and dual enrollment courses. One, because it gives you additional points on your overall GPA, but two, it's really preparing you for the rigor that you're going to experience in college. And when you're filling out your college applications, these are things that they're going to be looking at. Maintain a competitive GPA. Set a goal for yourself. A 3.5 is a very competitive GPA, unweighted, but once you add the weights, obviously it'll be over 4.0, but set a very competitive GPA so that you can compete with your peers. A great way to do that is to research the colleges that you're looking to attend, and all those colleges have the average GPA for incoming students, so that's something for you to look at. Get involved. Join clubs. Join clubs at your school, whether it be in elementary school, middle school, or high school. National Honor Society, National Education Honor Society, National Junior Honor Society, National Elementary Honor Society, and National Junior Honor Society. Those are great programs. There's other service clubs, Key Club, and other service clubs within the school that you can be a part of. And volunteer, whether it's through your church, whether it's through your community, whether it's through your family. Volunteer in the community, because all of these are what separates you from other candidates applying to the same college. If you look at it as a competition, it will be easier to understand what it takes to get to the next level. All right, so for my little ones, my elementary students, checklist. Here's some things that you can do right now, from as young as my incoming kindergartners to my leaving elementary school, 5th graders. Do your best in school. From the first day through 5th, in kindergarten through 5th grade, you want to do your best each and every single day in school. If it's something you don't understand, something you don't know, you can always ask questions, but always give it your all and don't feel discouraged. Read. Parents, I cannot stress enough how important it is for your child to be reading each and every day. That is a vital skill that they will need to make themselves ready for college. And have fun. Find ways to make learning fun. If you want to count with manipulatives, when I was younger, we used to use cereal to count, Cheerios to count and things like that. We used to use cars, micro machines to count things, read books that they're interested in. Make learning a journey. Make it fun. And explore the world around you. There are tons of free museums and parks that you can go to, and you can explore your world around you. The whole point at this age, when you're in elementary school, is to enjoy learning new things. And that's sometimes difficult for adults to understand, that the first and most important thing in learning is to love learning. And eat healthy and get plenty of sleep. Kids should be getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, depending on their age, but it's important that students are eating the right fruits and vegetables, as well as getting a proper night's sleep. All right, parents, so you also have some work to do as well with your elementary age kids. That was tasked for the students, but for parents, you want to help your kindergarten develop an interest in reading, and by reading aloud. So they might not, in kindergarten, they may not be able to conceptualize and read every single word in the page, but they learn fluency by listening. Fluency is a skill that you learn by listening to others who are more fluent read. So a great family time activity at night is to read to your children. Check your child's homework and follow their progress in school. Make sure you're looking at report card, attending teacher conferences. Stay involved, stay engaged. It's important that we don't just rely on students saying, "Hey, I don't have homework today," because kids will do that. What you want to do is, if you have any kind of online platform where you can check their homework assignments, you want to make sure that you're looking to see what they did in class. And if they don't actually have homework that was sent home, a good activity would be having them read at home, or you can create some assignments for them to support what they learned during that day. And this is very important. A lot of parents aren't necessarily in the position to, but it's something to think about. It's important to start putting away for college. College is only getting more expensive. And yes, we can apply for financial aid, grants, and scholarships and things like that, but that doesn't necessarily cover all the expenses associated with college. So learn different college savings plans and prepaid accounts like Florida Prepaid, and start the process as early as you can. Try to start as young as kindergarten, start saving up for college. Visit different colleges and allow your child to explore. So, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, HCC is a great college to explore their campus. The University of Tampa, you have Pasco Hernando State College, you have the University of South Florida, and those are your more local schools. St. Leo's a local school. But if you want to venture out a little more, you can go to some of the relatively closer ones like University of Central Florida, Florida Gulf Coast University, and obviously my favorite, the University of Florida, which is only 2 hours away. Go Gators. So always take the time, try it as often as you can. You can make it a summer trip, make it a couple days, and go explore some colleges. Start talking to them about colleges and careers now. Don't wait till they're going into high school where they're in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade to start talking about what they want to do. Start gathering that interest in college and careers early. And there's never a time in their life where it's too early to talk about colleges and universities. All right, so for my middle school students, I'm a former middle school teacher, so this is near and dear to my heart. Think about college as an important part of your future. So in middle school, you understand a little more about why you need to go to college. You have a better grasp on how school works. You've probably been in school already 6-7 years. You already know the routine of school. But now it's to tie those routines and those things that you're learning in school and apply that to your future and find out how attending college and learning about careers will better help you in the future. Take challenging and interesting classes to prepare for high school. So in middle school, that looks like taking advanced and honors classes. So, every parent has the right to advocate for their child to take the more difficult classes, even if their tests are if they are taking standardized tests. The standardized tests are a little lower. They also have the option though of requesting that the students take more difficult classes. Students, make sure that you're asking your parents or your guardian to help you research what programs will most benefit your interest. So if you're interested in veterinary medicine, you might want to be thinking about a school like the University of Florida, which has a great veterinary medicine program. If you're interested in pharmacy, FAMU has a great pharmacy program. So if students are interested in pharmacy, that's a school, great program at that school. So start finding programs at your school that are aligned with the things that you want to do for the college that you want to attend. Develop strong study habits. Students should be studying something every single night. And yes, parents, that does include Friday nights. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the brain is a sponge. It absorbs information nonstop. The brain never takes a break. That doesn't mean they have to study for hours at a time. So I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed like, oh no, Friday nights is the end of the week. But what you want to at least do is on a Friday, you can take 20 minutes, 30 minutes and review what they did during that week, because the brain is constantly processing information. So you want to keep that going. So develop good study habits, kids. And do your best in school and on standardized tests. Yes, in Florida, we have a lot of different standardized tests to measure our ability. But it's important that you excel in those different types of tests, because they will prepare you for more rigorous courses in high school and eventually college. Now, I encourage all 8th graders to try and make sure that they take the PSAT in 8th grade. And you can check the College Board website. There is a link in this presentation and you want to look for test dates. Most schools offer it for free and you can take it in 8th grade, but you really want to start that early exposure to the PSAT, which will eventually prepare you for the SAT, which they take in high school. Again, for middle schools, the same as elementary kids, be involved in the community and school-based activities. Sign up for clubs. Middle schools have clubs. Sign up for them. Get involved in the community as well. And speak with adults. If you see an adult working a job that's interesting, don't be afraid to ask. Somebody at school, ask your teacher why did they become a teacher. If you happen to have a family member or somebody from church or from the community that with the family, if they're doctors, ask them what did it take to become the doctor. When you go see your pediatrician, great time to ask them, what kind of education they had to experience in order to become a pediatrician. So it's very important to ask adults who you are familiar with, who your family knows about their profession. All right, so for parents, so a lot of times parents wait until high school to start navigating the FAFSA, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Now, the reason why you want to start exploring this now is because you want to familiarize yourself and you want to familiarize your children with the application process of applying for money. A lot of scholarship money goes unclaimed because a lot of parents don't know what scholarships are available. So the link that I put in this presentation will give you an opportunity to explore those scholarships and see which ones work best for your child. And continue, parents, to save in your child's education, your college and education account, and talk to your child about their interests. Kids can start deciding their majors as early as elementary school. Obviously, it's going to change because we know people who change their majors right while they're actually in college. But it's important that they start deciding what majors they want, and then they can start researching which colleges offer their majors. Help them develop those good study habits. Like I said, your children should be studying something every single day. It doesn't have to be for hours, but at least something to refresh their minds. And stay in touch with the child's teacher, especially the guidance counselor as well. The counselors are there to help navigate their college and career things that they're interested in. So it's important that you have those conversations as well. And make sure they're taking rigorous courses. Parents, I know we want all of our kids to make straight A's. I know that. But it's more important for your child to make a B in an honors level course than it is for them to make an A in a regular course when it comes to college and career readiness. And even in 8th grade, some schools have the option of students taking high school credit courses. So if they can get that algebra class out the way in 8th grade, have them take algebra. I know it's a high school class, and I know a lot of parents are a little worried because they don't know if their kid can handle a high school coursework. But Algebra 1 is usually the first high school course students take. So you want to give them an opportunity to be successful in that early if they're able to do that. And keep an eye on your child's grades, on their tests, on their report cards. Parents, I suggest you get a calendar and circle the dates where progress reports and report cards come out. This way, when they come home, you can have that conversation with them about how they did on those assignments during their 9 weeks. All right, so this is where the fun begins. High school graduation requirement. So when they leave 8th grade, they go into high school. Parents need to understand, once they start their first high school course, they have the clock has started to tick. There's no extra year for students. You have 4 years to complete your credits. And in Florida, students must successfully earn a minimum of 24 credits. That doesn't mean you can't take more than 24, but it's a minimum of 24 credits. And participate in all state tests. And the course credits required to graduate. So you have to take 4 years of English in high school. So English 1, English 2. Both of those I recommend at the honors level. And then I would suggest after that English 1, English 2, parents start thinking about whether you want your child to do dual enrollment English and then also or AP English, which every child's going to be in a different situation about what college readiness course they want to take. But I suggest by your junior year, that child is in some kind of AP or dual enrollment English course. Math is the same way, 4 years of math. Once you get your required math courses out, starting with Algebra 1, parents need to start thinking about possibly honors level, dual enrollment, and for the students who are really strong in math, advanced placement level math courses in their junior and senior year. Science the same way. You have to take biology and you have to take your chemistries, but once you get past that, parents are going to have to decide, do they want them to take physics? Do they want them to take advanced placement biology or advanced placement chemistry as well, or dual enrollment? Again, the more serious you are about college and career readiness, the more rigorous core courses your child's going to take. Social studies, the same thing. Social studies, you can start taking your first advanced placement course as young as 9th grade. You can take AP Human Geography in the 9th grade. So those are things to start thinking about for parents who are really serious about their child excelling in high school and having competitive GPA to be able to go to college of their choice. You'll need some form of fine and performing arts, speech and debate, or practical arts. 1 credit of that. Physical education, a lot of students choose HOPE and elective courses, which are 8 credits as well. Every school is going to offer different electives, so parents, it's really important that you talk to those counselors about which courses best work for your child. All right, so let's talk a little bit about courses and assessments that students will have to take in order to be college and career ready. Students are required, if they're in a traditional public education setting, to take statewide assessments. If they're not, then they have to take other assessments, but they won't have to take the statewide assessments. But if they are in a traditional program, public education program, they will have to take a 10th grade English language arts test, or they have to get a concordance score. They can get a concordance score. And basically that just means if you don't do well on your 10th grade language arts test, you can take the SAT or the ACT to get a score that's the equivalent of what you would have gotten. Algebra 1 end of course exam. So if your child's taking Algebra 1 in 8th grade, they're going to take the end of course exam in 8th grade. If they're in 9th grade, when they take it, they'll take that end of course exam in 9th grade. And that's going to count for 30% of their final grade as it stands right now. And you must also enroll in one of the courses EOC that have EOC assessments, which is your Algebra 1, Geometry, Biology 1, and U.S. History. And again, every school is going to offer those. Every district's going to offer those at different times throughout those 4 years. But it's important to get them out the way early and make sure that you're taking at minimum the honors level. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about college and career readiness. So in this slide, it tells you that college readiness can be defined operationally as the level of preparation a student needs in order to enroll and succeed without remediation. Now, parents, I want to stop there. That does not mean that if you have a child that has either a 504 or an IEP, that they're not college and career ready. That's not what they mean. What remediation means is that your child is required to experience more response to intervention, more RTI services, or multi-tiered levels of support than their peers. So in order for a child to be college and career ready, they have to be operating at a level where they won't need remediation. Now, does that mean that even if they need remediation, they can't go to college? No. That means that their journey might extend a little longer than their peers, where they might have to go to a 2-year college before going to a 4-year college. But it will prepare. But your student will be able to attend college, even if they do need some sort of remediation. That offers a baccalaureate degree or a transfer to a baccalaureate degree. So basically, you're preparing your kid for to attend a college where they can receive their bachelor's degree. All right, so that's what it means to be college ready. But everyone's not going straight into college after school. Some are going to enter their careers, which we need people in our workforce. If everybody's in college, we have nobody to attend our workforce. So you have to be ready for a career. It means that that in high school you have the English and math skills and knowledge necessary to qualify and succeed in a job that extends beyond high school. So even if you're a technician, you have the reading capability and the math capability to be able to perform that job at a high level. And for a lot of kids now, a lot of these schools are already offering industry certification and other things to prepare you for careers after high school. So it's not a have to go directly to college in order to be successful, but if you decide that that's not your path, if you want to be career ready, you want to take courses in high school still to prepare you for careers beyond high school until you're ready to attend college, if that is your desired plan. All right, so very simple diagram, the 4 dimensions of college readiness. So you have to have cognitive strategy. So cognitive is how you think, the problem solving. Can you research and interpret data? How do you communicate the data that you understand? Parents, believe it or not, this starts as young as 3, 4, 5 years old. Having your child explain things around you helps develop their cognitive strategies. Have them explain why the sun, rises in the east. Why does it set in the west? Having kids read things that are of interest in them at a young age, and having them explain what they read, and being able to do it with accuracy is how you develop those key cognitive strategies. Key content knowledge. So basically what that means is, can you get the big ideas from your core subjects? So if your child went to school all day and they came home and you say, what did you do today? And they say, well, nothing. Well, parents, that's more so on us. We have to understand the right questions to ask. You start off with what subject did you cover in science? If they say that we covered physical science, and you ask them, well, what about physical science that you learned today? If they tell you something about, we learned about what temperature water boils, you ask more probing questions so that you can see that they've learned something from that. You know what else is fun? If they did learn about boiling water, take them to the kitchen, put a pot of water on the stove, turn it on, and see how long it takes for that water to boil, and ask questions. Well, why do you think it took that long? If I added more water, would it take longer? These are things that help with their key content knowledge. Academic behaviors. All right, parents, I know we all know that our kids are angels in school, right? They're all angels, right? But we have to teach our students at home how to have self-management skills, time management skills, study skills. These are things that they have to be able to do on their own. Yes, we want teachers to be able to show them how to manage their time, but ultimately it's going to start at home first on how to manage time. A great way to do that, when times like this, where you're at home with your kid and you're doing homeschooling with them because they're not allowed to attend school, come up with a schedule. Come up with a schedule that they have to do certain activities at certain times. That's going to help them understand the value of time. In addition to that, create a notebook. I know parents are doing a lot of fun activities and things like that, but do you have a notebook for your child right now? And if you don't, now's the time to get a notebook, get some paper, and have them log in their notes. So they have their notes that they've taken today or the assignments that they've done today. They can either do that digitally or they can do it on paper. Have them set a goal. Parents, you can help them set goals each and every day. Every day they should have a goal for learning. Self-awareness and persistence. Too often we see kids who are struggling in school or it's a subject that they're not particularly strong in, and they want to give up. And that's human nature to want to do things that you're successful in and to remove yourself from things that you don't find yourself to be successful in. Well, the way that you do that, parents, you continue to encourage your child. If they make a mistake, if they do their homework wrong, if you ask them a question and they get it wrong, that's not the time to ridicule them or make them feel low about themselves, but that's the time for them to help them think through it, to be persistent on how to overcome obstacles in their life. College knowledge, contextual skills. So these are more so as you get closer to college. So I say probably around 8th grade, you want to start looking at 7th, 8th grade, you want to start looking at admissions requirements for certain colleges. Different college types and missions. So every college has different mission for their school. Some schools are huge, like the University of Central Florida. It's a huge school. So if your child can succeed in a big school, that's fine. But if they want to go to a smaller school, there are plenty of smaller schools that they can attend. Just also know the college culture and know how many kids attend the school, what's the graduation student GPA requirements, testing requirements, what programs do they offer parents. These are all things that we can start working with our kids long before they're even ready to graduate from high school. All right, so here's a sample. So this is not the end all be all, so I don't want anybody to screenshot this or copy this and say, oh, well, Keith Jacobs said that tuition was only going to be $35.70. This is the average tuition. So if you look at public school, public 2-year tuition in the district. So, you know, Hillsborough Community College, if you live in Hillsborough County, the 4-year in-state, you know, in-state and out-of-state parents, it's also something we have to talk to our kids about. In-state tuition is lower than out-of-state tuition. Also, if you want to attend a private 4-year university, there's going to be more money in that as well. So that's important that you understand that those different things are going to happen financially. So you want to make sure that you have these realistic conversations and you have a budget in place when you're saving up for your child's school. So tuition is not the only expense. Okay, they need room and board. That's their apartment. If they stay in a dorm, that's how much. Books and supplies. Books are only going to cost more. That's what's going to happen. Transportation. Do they need to take the subway, the bus, the shuttle to get to school? Or are you going to buy them a car, which I don't advise their first year in college? But are you going to buy them a car? And there are other expenses like food expenses. And honestly, we know kids need money to go. You know, they're going to want to go to the mall. They're going to want to hang out with friends. So those are all additional expenses that parents are going to be experiencing throughout the year. But it's important that parents also understand that being a full-time student is a job. So if they hold up their end of the bargain, which means that they're getting the grades that they're supposed to do, they're involved in the community, they're trying their best, then as parents, we really want to try to make sure that we're supporting them by either making sure that we apply for the right scholarships, we apply for grants where they apply, and other opportunities, saving in their education fund, their college savings fund, and making sure that education is the only thing that our students have to worry about. You know, they shouldn't necessarily have to worry about pulling out loans because we don't want kids to, start school off, graduate college and already be, tens of thousands of dollars of debt. Now, if that's necessary, then we have to do it if it is necessary, but we want to try to avoid at all costs those additional stressors for our students. So parents, as you're preparing for different test prep, things for SAT, ACT, I listed a whole, a list of websites that will help you. Khan Academy is it's a phenomenal tool to prepare students for standardized SAT practice, ACT practice, Princeton review, any of these. And the reason why you want to do this is because everybody's not a great test taker. I'm personally not a great test taker. And I know there are a lot of students who aren't great test takers, but there are test-taking strategies. Passing these college entry exams have more to do with the strategy behind taking the test as much as it does with the knowledge of taking those tests as well. Okay, so that's pretty much a general overview of, how to prepare your child from as young as kindergarten to as old as senior in high school on college and career readiness. If you do have any questions, you can email us at parentpower@stepupforstudents.org. You can text us at FVFC to 52886 to join our network. We're Florida Voices for Choices. You can like us on social media. We have Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you have any questions, this is a journey that we're all taking together. Sometimes for some of our parents out there right now that their kid is not in school right now, they're seniors, they're juniors, and they're trying to figure out what to do next, feel free to use me as a resource. You can email me, you can call me, you can follow up with questions with any questions that you have as it pertains to getting your child ready for post-secondary education, college, and career success. Thank you so much. And that is my presentation for today.